I'm going to look more closely at a way to edit or adapt the transitions brought in after we've got them in place. I'm going to continue looking at this transition that we set up in the previous tutorial between these two clips. There's a transitions panel that we can use to do this, but you might not see it immediately. That's because at the moment we don't have our transition selected. Like this, with no transition selected, if we look at our panels up at the top left, we see the Effect Controls panel as normal. So what we need to do is we first need to select a transition. Okay, so once you do select it, you'll see your transition change color, and immediately you'll see the Effect Controls panel change to display this transition editing panel. By the way, it doesn't matter if your CTI is away from the transition, so long as you have the transition selected, the editing panel will be on display. So let's see what we have. First, we see the name of our sequence, Angle C, and next to it, we note that this transition is a cross dissolve. Remember, we set this up in the previous tutorial. We had a number to choose from, but this was the one that we chose. Now I'm just going to expand our panel so we can see more of it, solely because there is so much more to see. Okay, and once expanded right out, here you'll see a graphical view of your two clips plus the transition. Clip number 1, which is referred to as A for obvious reasons, is on top. Below that is the transition, and then we have a second clip, clip B. If you want to adjust the view, use the horizontal scroll bar here. It's exactly like the one in the sequence panel. Okay, let's have a more focused look at the left now. You'll see a short description of what this cross dissolve will do, i.e. image A fades into image B. Whatever transition you choose, you'll see a short description here of what it does. In fact, as if you could miss it, you'll see these two large letters here, A plus B. You can change these to be the actual clips if you prefer. At this screen resolution, however, we can't see the checkbox. But if you enlarge downwards, you would see a checkbox to allow this to occur. I'm happy like this for this demonstration. Here it is. By default, the time it takes to fade in from A to B is 1 second. However, it's longer in our example here because we expanded the duration in the last tutorial. Remember us enlarging it. If you want to change it again, you can double-click here and change it. Therefore now we not only see the transition range enlarge up here, but also down on the timeline in the sequence panel. By the way, if you want a quick or small preview of what the transition looks like, click here next to the description, and now we see this tiny AB box repeatedly fade between A and B. Okay, and just simply click on it again to switch it off. So, what else do we see here? Well, again by default, the position at which the transition pivots around is centralized between the two clips. However, once more, because we adjusted the position in the last tutorial, we see it set here to Custom Start. But if you want to reset to any of these options, simply select your choice. You'll see if you do, the pivot point, or halfway point between the fade, moves to the chosen value. If you do want to choose any of these other values, then you can see we can choose between Start at Cut and End at Cut, and the Customize Start as well. Okay, so that's the Transition Editing panel. Of course it will update and display whatever transition type you use, but essentially the parameters are the same whatever you choose.